There's a Vauxhall Conference double bill in tonight's match of the week. Woking against Rockingham Diamonds is coming up later, but we start at Rockingham Road for the fixture between Kettering Town and Yeovil Town. So now it's over to Andrew Bodfish for match commentary.
It's a freezing night here at Rockingham Road, although full credit to the groundsman because the pitch is in pretty good nick for this one. Kettering Town against Yeovil Town is the fixture, with the Poppies looking to cement their security at the bottom of the conference. But tonight's game will be a difficult one because Yeovil Town are in a transitional period at the moment. They've just replaced their manager Graham Roberts, the former Spurs player, with a new managerial system headed by Colin Lippiatt. He's come to Yeovil from Woking and has brought with him defender Kevin Brown. Well, those Poppies fans saw their team beat Southport 2-1 on Saturday to restore some breathing space down at the bottom of the conference. Well, there was a doubt before tonight's game that Chris Pearson would not be fit, but he's passed a really late fitness test after coming off against Southport having damaged a foot, and he's okay to play tonight, partnered up front by Mickey Nuttall, who is back after a lengthy layoff through injury, and is no doubt grateful for his first team place back now that Raymond van Dulleman, the Poppies' lone striker from Northampton Town, has returned to Sixfields. Well, Yeovil kick off this game with Owen Pickard and Steve Parminter. And Owen Pickard actually is one of Yeovil's most dangerous players. He's wearing 10 tonight, and so far this season he's scored 14 goals. So the Poppies will need to be alert to respond to the threat that he will pose tonight. Yeovil, of course, in green, the Poppies in their familiar red. And attacking early with Craig Norman, didn't connect at all well with that dropping ball. Well, that will be an offside decision given against the Poppies. And the free kick will be taken by Yeovil goalkeeper Pennock. That was Pearson looking for the ball early doors. That will be a throw in to Kettering, although the Yeovil number 5 Kevin Brown, that player that Colin Lippiatt has brought to Yeovil from Woking, was reluctant to let the Poppies take it. It will be taken by Carl Adams on this near side, left-footed. Plenty of players up there for the Poppies. That was Pearson, well, in fact it was Valden looking for the touch on. But an early scare for Yeovil, dealt with comfortably by their keeper Pennock. Well, coming in there was Parmenter on the left-hand side. Poppies managed to get it away, thankfully for them. That's number 3 Smith. Steve Parmenter again. And he may well get this back there from Smith, and he did well there, Parmenter. There's a few players in the box for Yeovil. That might come all the way over to this far side, and Fielder, who will look for Warren Patmore, who, well, unfortunately fell over at the wrong moment there, Warren Patmore. But 12 goals so far this season, Warren Patmore, so he and Pickard pose a pretty dangerous threat to the Poppies tonight. There's certainly no doubting that. But, well, Kettering might well feel that there won't be a better time to play Yeovil actually this season, because Yeovil are coming into this game on the back of 5 straight defeats. And an even more encouraging statistic for the Poppies is that Yeovil have lost their last 6 away from home, and indeed from the last 18 points possible, Yeovil have only actually taken the 1 point from their last 6 fixtures. But, well, I guess Kettering's form is inconsistent, I suppose you could say, at the moment, because they've suffered some pretty depressing defeats, really. You may remember their hammering on Derby Day against Rockingham and Diamonds, beaten by 4 goals on that occasion, and of course they lost in disappointing fashion up at Gateshead a few weeks ago. But, well, they got back to winning ways on Saturday, the Poppies, with a 2-1 victory over Southport here, with goals on Saturday coming from Chris Pearson and Tim Wilkes. Wilkes, second half substitute against Southport, and he has to make do with a place on the bench today again as, well, Pickard tried to race through there. Decent defending there by David Moore in the Poppies defence. We'll feed this outside to Carl Adams, who in turn looks inside for Mickey Nuttall. And that was Carl Adams, well, just about managing to keep possession for Kettering. That's Norman spreading it out wide towards Foden, whose ball in was easily cleared really there by Kevin Brown. And that was Owen Pickard giving away the free kick for Yeovil Town. Taking this free kick for the Poppies will be Carl Adams. Looking for Craig Norman there, and the header wasn't far away for Kettering. The best chance so far in this game, and it goes in favour of the home team. Carl Adams' free kick causing a little bit of trouble there in the Yeovil box. And the Kettering skipper Craig Norman was leaping, just about failing to keep his header down, and Pearson there slightly distraught at seeing the ball go over the bar. Well, that's going to come to Steve Berry, the Poppies player manager, who's going to hook that ball forward. Steve Berry, who's been a victim of suspensions recently, but he's decided to select himself for tonight's fixture. Well, that's Carl Adams bursting through. Nuttall's moving nicely inside him and might well latch onto this. It's going to come to Pearson instead. Oh, well, has he been pushed a little bit wide there? Trying to look for Nuttall again at the second opportunity. Well, Yeovil Town managed to scramble it clear, although it's only come out as far as Cox. That's Nuttall. Well played by Mickey Nuttall. Managing to make the ball stick to his feet, laying it outside to Bradley Sanderman. Knocking the ball in there was, well, a long way out of his goal was Pennock, and Carl Adams trying the audacious effort. Didn't get it on target, and indeed the ball sails into the away end, although, well, it may be an away end here at Rockingham Road, but there aren't too many away supporters in there, I can assure you. There can't be more than about 7 Yeovil supporters here tonight. Hardly surprising, really, because it's a torrid evening here in north-east Northants. It's a freezing cold night, and to be honest with you, it looks as though there might be a little bit of rain later on this evening as well. Well, that was Sandyman and Cousins tussling for the ball in midfield. Well, it's going to come to Owen Pickard, who's looked a little bit lively for Yeovil so far. This is the Yeovil skipper, Steve Scott. Smith laying it out wide to Piper. Ben Smith will get this back. And he looked across the ball. Nice ball in by Smith. Well, Owen Pickard got the effort in. He's a little bit upset that he won't get the corner, but it looked as though he'd turned that ball wide from Ben Smith's cross then. Look at this. Moore was challenging. Well, Pickard did well to reach the ball in front of Moore then. And yes, I think that picture tells it all. He just managed to stab the ball wide, and Taylor didn't get a touch. This is Parmenter, who is on loan currently at Yeovil Town. Steve Parmenter from Bristol Rovers. Here he is. Oh, well, skips past Sandyman rather easily, and skips past Cox now. Well, David Moore was coming in with a challenge, and it was an important foot in by David Moore, because Parmenter had skipped round 2 challenges from Poppies defenders. Well, the referee just having to get out of the way there. Parmenter laying the ball in again. It will be collected by Craig Norman. Nice ball by Norman outside to Chris Pearson, who's going to take on Cousins here. Oh, nice ball by Pearson into the path of Adams. What can the Poppies do here? Carl Adams' ball over. Well, shame really, because it was a decent move by the Poppies. Pearson and Adams were heavily involved, and when Adams' cross was drifting over, it was far too deep and didn't reach a Poppies player. Not even Craig Norman, who was racing in on the back post. Parmenter has looked one of probably been the pick of the Yeovil players so far tonight, Steve Parmenter. Chris Pearson being challenged harshly there by Kevin Brown. Oh, well, this is Mickey Nuttall, who's going to have a dig from distance. Didn't unduly trouble the Yeovil Town goalkeeper, Tony Pennock. But nice effort from Nuttall. Shows that he's eager to impress on his return to first-team football here at Rockingham Road. Certainly went close with a couple of efforts I saw against Southport on Saturday, Mickey Nuttall. So I guess the aim of Steve Berry is that replacing Van Dulleman with Nuttall won't upset the Poppies' pattern of play too much. It's certainly not tonight. Nuttall started quite brightly. David Moore, well played by David Moore, turning Warren Patmore and laying a nice ball along the line to Chris Pearson, whose pace always causes defenders problems. Chris Pearson, oh, he does that so many times. peels away on the flanks, cuts inside and lets rip. But on that occasion, the ball's cannoned away off Tony Pennock's right-hand post. Well played by Chris Pearson. He ignored the option of laying the ball off to Nuttall and instead caned that with his right foot. Unlucky to see that ping away off the post, Chris Pearson. Got such a deadly right foot. We've seen him score so many times from that sort of chance this season. Well, David Moore was going in harshly there on Pat Moore. And that will be a free kick to Yeovil Town. Tonight's attendance, 1,116. And Vowden had to clear that from in front of Steve Parmenter. And that will be a corner to Yeovil, which is pinged in. And, well, Taylor nearly lost that. Well, that's Piper and Jones trying to regain possession for Yeovil. They won't manage it. That's Chris Pearson scampering away again on the right-hand side. In the end, bustled off the ball by Cousins. Yeovil Town number 6. This is Steve Berry. Well played by Berry. Bowden. Pearson. Nice play. Adams towards Pearson again. That will be a little bit too far in front of Chris Pearson from Carl Adams. That's Foden to Norman. Pearson again. Seeing a lot of the ball at the moment. The Poppies number 9. And he wins the throw-in for Kettering. That's Ben Smith giving the ball away really then to Carl Adams. Well, the ball was targeted towards Mickey Nuttall on the right-hand side, but the important interception then was by Birkby for Yeovil. Still it remains goalless here at Rockingham Road, half an hour gone. And frankly, in this sort of fixture between teams with aspirations to avoid the relegation dogfight come mid-April to the beginning of May, a point's no use really to either team. So make no mistake, Kettering and Yeovil will be going for the win this evening, as a yellow card gets given to Warren Patmore there for Yeovil. Free kick lofted forward, but only as far as fielder. And that was Norman scrambling and winning the ball effectively in midfield there for Paul Cox, who lays the ball towards Pearson. Intercepted by Smith. And that will come all the way back to Chris Taylor in the Poppies goal. But with the exception of that defeat here a few weeks ago against Rushden and Diamonds, Kettering Town's form here at Rockingham Road is actually rather good, because in their last 5 home games in total, they've won 4 of them. So, well, I guess you'd expect them to collect all 3 points at home here this evening. But it's turning into a bit of a gritty battle between the teams currently occupying 18th and 12th spot in the conference. It's Paul Cox laying that free kick towards Mickey Nuttall, who managed to get the flick on. That's Craig Norman hustling and bustling in midfield. Free kick given against Craig Norman then. He's a little bit upset about it. Will be taken by Pennock, the free kick for Yeovil Town. Well, and the free kick there given against Paul Cox, I think, for a bit of a shove on Patmore. This is Fielder laying the ball in towards Warren Patmore, and Owen Pickard. Well, in fact, coming in with a header was Steve Stott, but it landed safely in the arms of Chris Taylor, much to the delight of the Poppies fans. Articulate play by Yeovil as the rain begins to fall here at Rockingham Road. And this might well play havoc with the pitch, because it's already pretty soft. And well, that's the whistle for half-time to mark the end of a pretty uninspiring first period. Kettering Town 0, Yeovil Town 0 is the score. Well, Pearson and Nuttall kick off the second half for Kettering Town. Well, Steve Berry will no doubt have had a few inspiring words for his team at half-time. And I'm sure everyone here at Rockingham Road this evening is hoping for a second half which produces more action than the first half could offer, because to be honest it was pretty drab stuff in this scrappy battle for GM Vauxhall Conference points, as Yeovil attacked there with the ball looking to pick out Owen Pickard. Didn't quite manage it, and the Poppies deal with that fairly effectively. That's Norman getting it clear, although no one's on this near touchline to collect that ball from Craig Norman. The ball trickles into touch. That was Pennock taking the free kick for Yeovil. It's Parmenter over on that left-hand side, up towards Pearson. He lost out then because both Smith and Piper were jostling him. That's David Moore. Oh dear, only as far as Steve Scott there. Although, well, it looks as if the Poppies are going to win this back through Bradley Sanderman. Pearson was looking for the touch on. Well played by Chris Pearson for a short fella. That was a decent header. That's Mickey Nuttall. Sanderman in back inside to Nuttall. Kettering might be able to switch the play here with Vowden. Well, Vowden did get that back, although it was initially a poor ball from Nuttall. That's looking for Carl Adams now, shadowed by Birkby. And Birkby did enough to force the ball out of play for a Kettering Town throw. And the ball coming in there is looking towards Mickey Nuttall, went over his head. And, well, another chance goes by for the Poppies in a game, really, which hasn't seen too much goalmouth activity. Still goalless between Kettering and Yeovil. This is Owen Pickard. Plenty of space out here on the right for Piper. His ball in, well, was between Pickard and Parmenter. Carl Adams helping that on, only as far as Fielder. Although that's going to go long and maybe be chased by Mickey Nuttall. Well, Pennock came a huge distance out of his goal then, and in the end has actually managed to almost set up Warren Patmore. Although I think he was actually offside from Pennock's huge kick. Chris Taylor will take this for the Poppies, spreads it wide towards the number 3 Rob Mutchell tonight. Pearson, well played by Kevin Brown. He's been never more than an arm's length away from Pearson all evening. He's absolutely kept him in his pocket. That's Nuttall and Birkby challenging. It's going to come out to Paul Cox, whose ball long is aiming for Mickey Nuttall. Nuttall might get another stab at this and managed to do well there. Pearson went over. And I think that's the sort of problems we're beginning to see with the pitch now. It's sodden down there on the turf of Rockingham Road. Heavy rain beginning to fall this evening. Carl Adams. Well, the Poppies fans in this main stand are going mental there because they felt Pickard was going in late on Carl Adams, and indeed Pickard will be shown the yellow card at least here. Mutchell to Adams, back to Rob Mutchell. There's Mickey Nuttall. Carl Adams. Well, he was being bundled over really there by Smith. The referee was having none of it. Well, that ball by Cousins went only as far as Moore, who sets up Craig Norman, who in turn plays it long towards Chris Pearson. And well, there's a Yeovil player injured down there. It's Warren Patmore, who in actual fact only passed a late fitness test for this game tonight. He pulled his hamstring in Yeovil's defeat at Morecambe last weekend as Pearson goes racing away there, and he's taking on Cousins, and Pearson, well, that's the goal that Kettering wanted. 54 minutes gone and Chris Pearson gets one of his specials. A long ball forward, Pearson controls, cuts in and finishes clinically. Well, relief around Rockingham Road really. Just the sort of excitement we wanted to brighten up what's otherwise been a pretty dull game. Look at that, such a tidy finish by Chris Pearson. Slipped it quite beautifully past Pennock. And now he's racing away and he's going to look for a second here, Chris Pearson. Oh, he's flushed that wide. And having just put Kettering in the lead there, Chris Pearson could probably have sealed the victory less than 60 seconds later. Well, if Yeovil managed to pull one back in this game, the Poppies might well look back on that chance. Pearson's effort had beaten Pennock. Unfortunately for he and the Poppies, he'd also beat that right-hand post. It's more back to Taylor. Certain buoyancy around the Poppies now. This is Carl Adams, whose effort, well, was actually sliced somewhat. I don't think Adams was actually trying for the effort on goal there. This is Rob Mitchell. Mickey Nuttall. A reasonable game up front, Mickey Nuttall. He's a player that holds the ball up so effectively whilst waiting for his colleagues to move forward from midfield. That's number 4 Birkby. This is Fielder. He's going to look for Patmore. Inside to Smith. He fancies his luck here. Smith. Not a bad effort there by Ben Smith. Shooting from about 25 yards, maybe 30. Unfortunately for him, it was always drifting away. Didn't actually pose Chris Taylor any undue concern at all. Taylor's kick, a long one. That was Nuttall looking for the ball in the air. Well, Adams lost out there. The ball's going to be played forward towards Owen Pickard. Well, the Yeovil substitute on is number 15, Sam Winston, who is a 19-year-old. Recently signed for Yeovil from Leyton Orient. And indeed, this will be his first touch here, Sam Winston. Gets the ball in well. Well, David Moore with an important and timely header. It may fall here towards Fielder. That was an important clearing header by Steve Berry. Fielder again. Well, it looked to me as if Paul Cox went straight through Patmore there. And indeed he did do. The referee feels the same. This will be a free kick to Yeovil in a pretty dangerous position, really. They've got players who can shoot from distance. One of them was, number 7 Fielder there. And that took a mighty deflection off, I think, Paul Cox. And just look at this, that could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for Taylor, it went over his crossbar. Berry's throw into Mickey Nuttall. Well, Sandeman's ball in. Point deep. It certainly sold Pennock. The Poppies have regained possession here through Mitchell. This is Carl Adams. And cleared convincingly there by Cousins. Steve Berry, victim of a harsh challenge there by Ben Smith. Well, the referee said play on. A strange decision, really, because it looked as if Smith had gone straight through the back of Berry. Steve Berry, indeed, is absolutely on the deck there. In fact, I think the Poppies physio is going to have to tend him here. Time running out for Yeovil, though. We've only got about 20 minutes left here at Rockingham Road. Kettering Town heading for their 5th home victory from 6 starts. They've still got to keep their concentration, though. The game certainly isn't won yet. That was a harsh challenge on Mitchell then. And Taylor will take this free kick for Kettering. Nuttall again was up in the air and trying to get the flick on. Didn't quite manage it. That's Berry pumping the ball forward towards towards Chris Pearson, the industrious Poppies forward. Reminds me of a greyhound who's just seen the hare, Chris Pearson. His pace is certainly one of his main assets, and he's certainly a nippy character. That's decent play there from Smith. Nice flick ball as well into Parmenter. Going to come back to Stott. Smith again. Nice play by Yeovil. Although, can they make any headway? Well, over on the far side, Parmenter's trying to. Well played. Danger here for the Poppies. There's a fair few in the box there. Well, Taylor saved that, but it's been nodded in. It's the substitute, Sam Winston, on 75 minutes. Yeovil Town draw level, and there was always danger. Steve Parmenter's been a threat for the Poppies all night, cutting inside, crossing, and although Chris Taylor made a really good save there, that's Sam Winston nodding in his first goal for Yeovil Town. Well, Steve Berry making an immediate substitution. That's Chris Pearson, who's given his all for the Poppies tonight, coming off, replacing him with Tim Wilkes, who got the winner on Saturday against Southport, and frankly, the Poppies would love it if he did the same tonight. And that's Tim Wilkes breaking through as soon as he comes on, really, there. Well, what must the Poppies fans be thinking here at Rockingham Road? I can't remember Chris Taylor having to make a save tonight. But on 75 minutes, he picks the ball out of the net for 1-1. Well, Carl Adams! Oh, what a great chance for the Poppies to steal it with less than 10 minutes to go. The ball was skidding towards Carl Adams. He was unchallenged from about 15 yards out. And his biggest error there was probably to hit the ball low, when it would have been maybe a better option to knock that either side of Pennock off the deck. And it might come back to Adams here, but it hasn't, and the chance has gone. Well, this is the chance again. It was decent play there by Nuttall, whipping the ball in with the outside of his left foot. That's Wilkes' header on. Players were scrambling all over the place in there, and Carl Adams tried to place that when there were too many bodies in the way. Unlucky, but what a fine chance for Kettering to steal it late on. And of course, they've got to concentrate at the other end now as Yeovil tried to nick a winner. And this is Steve Stodd, who might fancy his chances. Straight at Chris Taylor. Well, the Kettering fans at Rockingham Road tonight have seen a game of football which I guess they'd rather forget, because it's been a largely torrid affair this evening at Rockingham Road. It remains 1-1 between Kettering Town and Yeovil. That's Vowden trying to ping the ball in. Well, hoofing the ball clear then was Cousins, and Yeovil concede a corner as we approach the dying moments of the game, actually. Well, that's Carl Adams. The shot was saved by Pennock, and just failing to knock the rebound in was Mickey Nuttall. Kettering close to getting a winner there. That's David Moore pinging the ball out wide towards Cox. Oh, well, Kettering surrendered possession there, Cox. His ball went only as far as Kevin Brown, who's been a calming influence in the Yeovil defence this evening, Kevin Brown. Of course, the player who their new management infrastructure of Colin Lippiat as head coach and Terry Cotton as director of football brought with them from Woking for £7,500. He's certainly been worth every penny of that tonight, because he's put in a decent performance in the Yeovil defence. Well, Carl Adams being barged off the ball then by Piper and Smith. And this is Smith, who tries to inspire one late sortie from Woking as Taylor hoofs that into the stand here at Rockingham Road. Well, this was that late chance from Carl Adams. Look at that, a snapshot really from Adams. Two defenders were closing in on him, and Pennock, you have to say, made a good save, and look at that. An equally good clearance from Brown, straight in front of Nuttall. So Kettering have certainly had the lion's share of the chances tonight. It remains 1-1, and it looks as though they're going to have to settle for a point, and indeed they have to. Mr Vosper draws this game to a close. It's finished Kettering Town 1, Yeovil Town 1, a largely uninspiring game. Really, I suppose in the context of the season, it would go down as a slog, really, for points between two teams, hoping to secure stability in really the middle of the conference table. A point helps Kettering Town move a little further away from the relegation zone. Chris Pearson's goal here was equalised by Sam Winston, and it's finished 1-1.